The Moon Rabbit. Japanese Folklore for Relaxation. Part 1. Whisper of the Bamboo Grove. The night in old Japan was made of silver. The moon hung low and full, a pale lantern in a sky woven from silk and cloud. Its light slid through the forests like water, spilling over moss and stone, painting every leaf with a quiet glow. And in that glow, the bamboo whispered. They whispered, not as wind does, but as memory does, softly, endlessly, and with a secret language only the calm can hear. Each stalk swayed, each leaf trembled. Each breath of air carried a story older than the temples, older than the mountains, older even than the stars reflected in the rice fields below. Tonight, that story was about a rabbit. Not a common creature of fur and earth, but a spirit of kindness, whose heart shone brighter than the moon itself. In a small clearing between the bamboo, a gentle stream hummed. The water was cool, flowing down from sacred hills where foxfire danced and cranes slept standing in the shallows. 3 animals often met by that stream: a monkey with bright eyes full of mischief, a fox with clever paws and a tail like mist, and a white rabbit whose fur caught the moonlight like freshly fallen snow. They were friends, bound not by need, but by quiet companionship. The monkey leapt among the branches, bringing laughter to the forest. The fox told stories that even the stars leaned in to hear. And the rabbit listened. He did not speak often, but when he did, even the ripples in the stream seemed to still, as though the world waited to hear what kindness might sound like when it had a voice. One evening, the moon climbed higher than usual. So close it seemed you could reach it if you stretched just a little further. The rabbit looked up at it, his eyes soft with wonder. What do you suppose lives there?" he asked. The fox flicked his tail. "Gold palaces and gods who never hunger." The monkey laughed, swinging from a branch. No, the moon is cheese. The humans say so." The rabbit smiled. "Perhaps, but I think it's a mirror, one that shows not what we look like, but what we are." The fox tilted his head. "And what do you see in it, little one?" The rabbit's gaze lingered on the light that washed over the trees. "I see the shape of kindness, the kind that never asks for anything back." The forest grew quiet. Even the insects seemed to pause, for in that moment it was as though the moon itself had heard him. Far above, unseen by mortal or beast, a presence stirred, ancient, patient, and eternal. The moon god Tsukuyomi watched from his celestial palace. He had heard the rabbit's words echo through the folds of the night. The gods often tested warriors and kings, but Tsukuyomi preferred to test hearts. And so, With the moon as his witness, he decided to descend. As midnight ripened, the bamboo bent in reverence. A figure appeared at the edge of the clearing, an old wanderer, cloaked in tattered robes, his steps slow, his breath shallow. He carried no light, yet the shadows bent away from him as if they feared to touch his sorrow. The monkey was the first to see him. "A traveler!" he cried, leaping down. "You must be lost. This forest is deep and winding." The old man bowed meekly. "I have wandered far. My body grows cold, my belly empty. Have you food to spare, kind ones?" The fox frowned, thoughtful. "I can bring berries and fallen fruit." The monkey nodded. "And I can fetch nuts from the trees." They darted off, rustling through the underbrush. The rabbit, however, stood still, his eyes soft and sorrowful. When the others returned with their offerings, the old man smiled faintly, but his hands trembled. He looked to the rabbit and asked, "And you, little one, what will you give?" The rabbit's ears drooped. "I have no fruit, no claws for hunting, only my heart." The old man smiled sadly. "A heart is a rare gift indeed." Hours passed. The moon drifted higher, and the fire they built flickered low. The rabbit watched the man's breathing slow. He was not truly hungry, the rabbit thought, but weary in his spirit. Still, kindness asked for no questions. He turned to his friends. "Please, gather wood for the fire." The fox hesitated. "Rabbit, what are you thinking?" The rabbit smiled, the kind of smile that feels like the beginning of dawn. "I am thinking that love asks for nothing less than everything." And before they could stop him, he leapt into the flames. The fire did not roar. It sighed, as if it even understood. Light blossomed around him, soft and white, and in that radiance the old man's eyes widened, for the illusion fell away. And standing there, bathed in silver, was Tsukuyomi. His robes now woven from starlight, his form radiant and infinite. He raised his hand, and the fire vanished like mist. The rabbit lay untouched, glowing with a serenity that belonged to eternity. "My little one," the moon god whispered, "your compassion has reached even my heart. You have given without expecting, loved without condition. Such purity deserves not death, but immortality." He lifted the rabbit in both hands, and as the fox and monkey watched, tears glistening in their eyes, a great light enveloped the grove. When it faded, the rabbit was gone, and in his place a trail of silver light stretched skyward. The moon shone brighter than it ever had, and upon its surface the faint outline of a rabbit could be seen, forever cradled in its glow. And so, if you look closely on a clear night, you will still see him, the moon rabbit, stirring the elixir of kindness with his gentle paws. He does not sleep, for his dream is eternal. He watches the world below, whispering to every heart that listens. Kindness never dies. It simply changes form and glows forever. The moon hung heavy and serene over the land of ancient Japan. Its silver glow caressed the bamboo grove, turning the forest into a sea of light and shadow. The stars shimmered like grains of rice scattered across an indigo sky. In that sacred calm, the three friends, the rabbit, the monkey, and the fox, sat near the stream where the world felt endlessly still. The night was thick with the fragrance of blooming jasmine and the soft song of crickets. No one spoke at first, only the stream did, murmuring gently as though whispering the old stories of the gods. The monkey leaned against a tree, his arms behind his head. He said with a grin, "You know, I think the stars are listening tonight." The fox twitched an ear, eyes glinting in the firelight. "Listening to what, foolish one?" The monkey chuckled. "To the rabbit. His thoughts have been so quiet, even the wind seems to wait for them." The rabbit smiled faintly, tracing a paw in the soft earth. "I was thinking," he said slowly, "how beautiful it is that we can sit together like this, without hunger, without fear, just the moon and us." The fox nodded. "That is rare indeed. The world beyond these trees is not so kind." The monkey sighed. "Then we're lucky to have each other." The fire crackled softly. For a long while they said nothing more. Each was lost in their own thoughts, the glow of the flames reflected in their eyes. But fate, that quiet sculptor of all things, was already carving a new story into this peaceful night. From the shadows beyond the grove came the sound of slow footsteps, hesitant and uneven, almost trembling. The friends turned. Out from the mist of moonlight stepped an old man, his clothes ragged, his hands trembling, his face pale as paper. He looked like he had walked for 100 lifetimes without rest. The fox's ears flicked back in caution. The monkey tilted his head. The rabbit rose to his feet. The old man spoke, his voice barely more than a breath. "Good creatures of the forest, I am but a wanderer, weary and cold. Might I share your fire for a while?" The rabbit bowed deeply. "Of course, honored one. Please come closer." The monkey, ever eager, brought him a smooth stone to sit upon. The fox watched closely, her amber eyes glinting, but she said nothing. The old man lowered himself beside the fire, his bones creaking softly. The flame's light revealed a gentle smile beneath the dust of his journey. He said softly, "You are kind. Few would offer warmth to a stranger these days." The rabbit replied, "It costs nothing to be kind." The old man chuckled, "Ha! Such wisdom in a small creature." They shared the night in peaceful silence for a time. The monkey brought fruit from the trees, balancing them proudly in his hands. The fox hunted for a small bird and offered it as a gift to cook. Only the rabbit had nothing to give. He sat quietly, the fire's light flickering over his white fur. The old man noticed and asked him gently, "And you, little one, what do you bring?" The rabbit lowered his eyes. "Only my heart, sir, but it is yours if you wish." The fox looked at him puzzled. "Your heart? That's a strange thing to offer." The monkey grinned. "That's our rabbit, always thinking with his heart instead of his head." The old man smiled softly, but said nothing. His gaze drifted up to the moon, as though remembering something ancient and sad. Hours passed. The old man's hands began to tremble more. He pressed them together for warmth. "I am sorry," he whispered. "I fear I cannot last the night without food." The monkey jumped up. "Wait here, I'll get more fruit." He dashed off into the trees. The fox stood. "I'll find something fresh from the river." She vanished into the shadows. Only the rabbit remained. He looked at the frail man, at his hollow eyes, his thin frame. The night air had turned colder, and the moon now floated high, silver and silent, like a guardian watching from afar. The rabbit's chest ached with quiet empathy. His heart whispered, "He is not just hungry, he is lonely." When the fox and monkey returned with their offerings, the old man tried to eat, but his hands shook too much. He smiled weakly and said, "I thank you all. You have shown me what kindness still lives in this world, but I fear my time may be short." The rabbit stepped forward, voice trembling yet filled with calm. "If your body is weak, then let my warmth keep you strong." The fox's tail flicked anxiously. "Rabbit, what are you saying?" The rabbit looked at the fire. It glowed like the heart of the moon itself. His eyes reflected it. Not fear, not sorrow, only peace. In the silence that followed, the old man turned his gaze toward him, and for the briefest moment his eyes shimmered like the sea beneath moonlight. The rabbit took a deep breath. Then he smiled, and without hesitation he leapt into the fire. The forest gasped. Even the stars seemed to hold their breath, but the flames did not consume. They transformed. Light, soft and white, enveloped everything. The monkey cried out. The fox froze in place. And when their eyes adjusted, the old man was gone. In his place stood a figure of radiant silver, Tsukuyomi, the moon god, serene and sorrowful, his eyes filled with compassion. He raised a hand, and the light gentled to a hush. His voice was like the sound of wind across water, calm, eternal. "Do not fear," he said. "Your friend is not gone. His gift has reached the heavens." The fox bowed low, her tears shimmering. "Was this a test, my lord?" Tsukuyomi nodded slowly. "It was, to measure the weight of a pure heart. Few mortals, or even gods, understand the meaning of true sacrifice." He lifted his gaze to the moon above, and tonight the moon will carry his soul so that all who look upon it will remember his kindness. And as his words faded, a gentle light rose from the fire's embers, a glowing white silhouette, small and perfect,
It drifted upward, carried by the wind, until it touched the face of the moon. There it shimmered and stayed, the outline of a rabbit stirring a celestial bowl. The monkey and fox knelt in silence, awe in their hearts, peace in their souls. The forest sighed, the bamboo bowed, and the stars began to move again. From that night on, whenever the moon rose full and bright, travelers swore they could see the shape of the rabbit upon it, forever stirring, forever glowing, a symbol of selfless love. And those who wandered lost beneath its light would feel a gentle warmth in their chest, as though a quiet voice whispered, "When you give from the heart, even the smallest..."
Moon Google AI Studio. Style instructions for Part 3. The Moon Rabbit. Japanese Folklore for Relaxation. Part 3. The Divine Test and the Leap to the Moon. Far above the whispering reeds, the moon hung like a lantern of eternity, still, silver, and full. Its reflection shimmered in the river below, a mirror between two worlds, heaven and earth. The rabbit sat at the river's edge, his white fur brushed by moonlight. He watched his reflection tremble on the water's skin and wondered quietly, "Am I a creature of the earth, or do I belong to the sky?" Beside him, the monkey and the fox stretched, weary from another long day. The forest hummed with distant life, owls calling, crickets singing, and a faint sigh from the trees as they released the day's last breath. The arrival of the stranger. Then, one night, beneath the star-woven heavens, a figure appeared. An old man, thin and trembling, walked slowly into the clearing. His robe was tattered, his hair long and gray. He looked weak, each step like a whisper of exhaustion. The monkey was the first to notice. "An elder," he said softly, swinging down from a branch. "He looks so tired." The fox lowered her golden head. "He must be hungry, perhaps lost." The rabbit's ears tilted toward the sound of the man's breathing, uneven, fragile like a flame about to fade. The old man raised his eyes, and in the gleam of moonlight they glowed with a strange serenity. "Good creatures of the forest," he said, voice trembling, "I have traveled far. I am hungry, and I have nothing left to give but my thanks. Could you help me?" Without hesitation, the three friends gathered together. "I will bring him mangoes," said the monkey, eager and proud. He leapt into the trees, swinging between branches like flowing water. Soon he returned with fruits glistening with dew. "I will bring him fish," said the fox. Her tail flicked once, and she darted away to the stream. With her clever paws and keen eyes, she soon returned with a shining catch. And then the rabbit. He stood still, thinking deeply. "I have no fruits to gather, no fish to hunt, no claws to dig, no wings to fly. His little nose twitched, and his voice grew quiet. What can I offer? The old man smiled faintly, his gaze gentle. Your heart is enough, but I will accept whatever you give. The rabbit's gift. The monkey and the fox looked at their friends with love and worry. The rabbit gazed at the pile of fruit and fish, the offerings placed before the stranger. And then, with a deep breath, he said, I have nothing of my own, but I will give myself. Before the others could stop him, the rabbit gathered sticks and twigs into a small fire. The flames rose softly, casting a golden glow over the clearing. He turned to his friends, eyes bright with peace. If I give my life, then perhaps he will never hunger again. Stop, cried the monkey. Don't do this. Please, begged the fox, tears shining in her eyes. There must be another way. But the rabbit only smiled, a smile so pure it stilled the forest around him. The air held its breath. Even the crickets fell silent. He leapt gently into the fire. The flames flickered white, not red, not yellow, but pure like moonlight reflected on snow. And then silence. The old man rose slowly. His trembling hands reached toward the fire, and from it he lifted the rabbit's form, unburned, glowing faintly with silver light. The monkey and the fox gasped as the old man's form shimmered, changing, brightening, until no longer a frail human stood before them, but a radiant being cloaked in divine gold. It was Sakra, the Lord of Heaven, a celestial spirit who had come to test their kindness. You have all shown generosity, said Sakra, his voice deep and calm like the ocean. But you, little rabbit, have shown the greatest heart. You gave not what you had, but what you were. He lifted the rabbit gently to the heavens, where the night sky opened like a gate of light. From that day on, the rabbit's shape was etched upon the surface of the moon, not as a shadow, but as a living presence. Every full moon his spirit shines down upon the world, watching over all creatures who share kindness and compassion. The gentle afterglow. The monkey and the fox looked upward, tears glimmering in their eyes. He's not gone, said the fox softly. He's just gone higher. The monkey nodded. Every time the moon is full, we'll see him. He's there, in the light. The forest breathed again, the sound of crickets returning, wind caressing leaves, river murmuring softly. The moon, full and serene, held the shape of a rabbit, sitting still, ears pointed toward eternity. Sakra looked down at the two friends and smiled. When you gaze at the moon, remember, kindness is the light that never fades. He disappeared in a stream of stars, leaving the forest bathed in peace. Closing narration for sleep induction. Slow your breath in, through the nose, out through the mouth. Imagine the moonlight on your skin, soft, silver, weightless. Somewhere above, the moon rabbit watches with eyes of peace. He asks nothing. He offers everything. You are safe. You are loved. You are resting in the same light that shines on ancient mountains, gentle forests, and rivers that whisper in their sleep. Tonight, you are part of that story. You are part of the moon. The Moon Rabbit, Japanese Folklore for Relaxation. Part 4. The Eternal Reflection. When the divine light faded from the clearing, the forest stood in sacred stillness. The fire had long since gone cold, yet its warmth lingered in the hearts of every creature. The fox and the monkey sat beside the river where the moon floated above them, vast, silent, and eternal. They did not cry, not anymore. They simply watched and breathed. Each breath carried the same rhythm as the waves touching the shore. Rise, fall, rise, fall. The heartbeat of the earth itself. The quiet after sacrifice. "Do you hear that?" the monkey whispered. The fox tilted her head. "Hear what?" "The silence," said the monkey. "It's beautiful." The fox smiled softly. "That's his silence, the rabbit's." And indeed, somewhere in that silence they could almost hear him. A voice not made of sound, but of warmth, whispering through the trees. Not words, but feelings. Peace, gratitude, love. Above them, the moon glowed brighter than ever before. Its silver halo stretched across the forest, brushing every leaf, every drop of water, every shadow. The light felt alive, breathing, remembering. The fox closed her eyes and whispered to the sky, "Thank you, little one. You showed us the heart of compassion." The return of the seasons. Weeks passed, then months. The world did not forget the rabbit. Spring returned with soft cherry blossoms floating through the air like whispers of pink snow. Summer followed, the days long and filled with gentle laughter. Autumn arrived next, scattering golden leaves across the ground, their rustle like tiny prayers. And winter came last, quiet, pale, pure, just like the rabbit's fur. Every season, the fox and the monkey met by the same river. They would look up at the moon and see their friend sitting there, forever peaceful, forever kind. Sometimes children from nearby villages would come to the forest to gaze at the sky. Their parents would tell them, "See the shape on the moon? That's the moon rabbit. Long ago he gave himself for kindness, and now he lives forever in the light." The children would smile sleepily, tracing the outline of the rabbit with their small fingers before dozing off in their parents' arms. And thus, generation after generation, the legend lived on, whispered not as tragedy, but as serenity. The divine perspective. Far above, beyond clouds and mortal breath, Sakra, The celestial being watched over the earth. He saw kingdoms rise and fall, oceans swell and shrink, stars die and be born again. Yet through all of it, one light never dimmed, the glow of the moon rabbit. In the stillness of eternity, Sakra spoke softly to the stars. Even the smallest soul can hold infinite compassion. And the stars nodded, their twinkles like quiet applause scattered across the heavens. Sometimes, on nights when the world seemed especially weary, the moon rabbit's image shimmered brighter. It was said that on those nights, the rabbit's spirit sent dreams to the lonely, dreams of warmth, of forgiveness, of returning home. If you ever look up at the moon and feel a gentle calm settle over you, perhaps you are feeling his presence, not as a story, but as truth, written in light. The Forest of Memory. Back on Earth, the fox grew older. Her golden fur began to pale, her movements slower, her eyes deeper. But her heart never dimmed. She would often sit beside the river watching the reflection of the moon ripple softly across the surface. Sometimes she spoke out loud, though no one was near. "Little one," she'd whisper, "you still watch over us, don't you?" And in the shimmer of the moon's reflection, the water would seem to nod, slow and sure. The monkey, now with graying fur, would come swinging down the old branches, still smiling that same mischievous smile. But when he sat beside the fox, he too grew silent. No jokes, no chatter, just peace. They didn't need to speak. The presence of the moon rabbit lived in the space between their breaths. The final night. One night, many years later, the fox could no longer rise from her resting place. The moon was full again, flooding the forest in silver. The monkey sat beside her, holding her paw gently. "It's time," she said softly, smiling. "I think I'll see him again soon." The monkey nodded, tears glimmering like dew on his fur. "Tell him he misses me." The fox closed her eyes. He knows. And as her breath grew still, a soft wind brushed through the bamboo, carrying the scent of night jasmine and river mist. And then, for a brief moment, the moon seemed to shine twice as bright. The monkey looked up, and there, beside the shape of the rabbit, he saw two more faint figures, one with a tail and one with a bushy tail of gold. The friends had reunited. The moon smiled. The eternal reflection. The years flowed on, but the story never faded. In every home that looked up to the moon, in every lullaby whispered to a child, the moon rabbit lived on, a gentle reminder that love and sacrifice are not lost. They are transformed. And when you look up at the moon tonight, perhaps you'll see it differently. Not just as a cold sphere of light in the sky, but as a mirror, reflecting your own kindness, your own quiet heart. Because the moon rabbit does not just live in heaven. He lives in anyone who chooses compassion over comfort, giving over gain. Now, close your eyes. The world around you softens like a watercolor painting fading into mist. The moon above you glows softly, not far away, but near enough to touch. Its light rests on your skin, calm and steady. You breathe in slowly, you breathe out even slower. Your heart beats in rhythm with the earth below. You are at peace. You are part of the same light that carried the moon rabbit to the sky. Kindness hums in your chest like a lullaby. You are safe. You are home. And as you drift into sleep, the moon rabbit watches over you, silent, smiling, eternal.